Hello everyone, it is me, Louis, aka Duncan Gaming, and today I will be ranking every single episode from Season 6 of Thomas. As always, if you have not seen the previous season ranking lists, I recommend you go watch them as well, and then come back to this video. Without further ado, let's get onto the ranking list. Thomas, Percy, and the Squeak. Here it is, the first bad episode of the show in my opinion. Thomas is very strange in this episode. I think he's a bit too mean to Percy in here, the plot isn't that great. And the ending also feels a bit muddy. This could have been a lot better. 3 out of 10, not very good. Rusty saves the day. I have absolutely nothing to say about this episode. This may very well be the strangest episode of the entire series. It's all just wrong. Like, it's not bad, but it's definitely not good. I just get nothing out of this episode. Like, the Skarloey Railway being dilapidated? What? I'm actually struggling with things to say. 5 out of 10, probably the most mid episode of the entire show in my opinion. James and the red balloon. The fact that Thomas and James actually think a red balloon will replace them is what brings this episode down. Admittedly, it does have some really funny moments. Duck crashing into Stepney, well I say crash, it was a slight bump. And James getting covered by the balloon was funny, but it's just that glaring issue of Thomas and James actually thinking a red balloon could replace them. That's why it's this low on the list. 5 out of 10. Twin Trouble. This episode isn't bad, it's just Donald Douglas, while still being good in this episode, is where they started to become basically the same character, and I'm not really a big fan of that. And the arguing does get a bit overboard, but at least it's not terrible, because there's a certain season 21 episode which does them really bad, which I'm not going to talk about. I do find them yelling at each other pretty funny though, especially in the UK dub. You can say this about every single episode this season, but I'm going to mention it here just this one time. Michael Angelos' narration carries these episodes, even the bad ones. Because, honestly, I would rather watch Thomas, Percy and the Squeak than an episode like Toby's Windmill. Because even though an episode like Toby's Windmill is probably better than Thomas, Percy and the Squeak, Thomas, Percy and the Squeak has a lot more energy and keeps me more entertained. So yeah, this episode is a 5 out of 10. I just wish it did Donald Douglas a little bit better. Buffer Bother. This episode is more boring than Twin Trouble, but the reason why I've got it more above is because Bill and Ben are actually in character here. But I don't really have anything to say about this episode. It's basically the exact same as Twin Trouble, other than a couple slight differences. Also 5 out of 10. Harvey to the rescue. Harvey is a nice new character, but I do feel the engines are a bit too mean to him. It's not crazy mean, but they judge him too soon, but at least they warm up to him by the end of the episode. And Percy's crash was good, and I really like Thomas in this episode. It's got a mix of good and bad things in it, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Edward the really useful engine. This does have a glaring issue of that Gordon forgetting about the events of Edward's exploit and going back to not liking Edward, but besides that, there's not actually too much wrong with this episode. Duck's scenes are good, the troublesome trucks are funny as always, Gordon's scenes on the hill are amazing. The music's good in this episode, I like Edward's theme. And seeing Stepney again was really nice, so I'll give this one a 6 out of 10. I don't just judge episodes because of one bad thing, I look at them as a whole. A bad day for Harold the Helicopter. This is a small but nice episode, a nice continuation of the rivalry between Percy and Harold. Not many people talk about this one, and I think it's a shame because this is a good episode. Harold's crash, his only crash, is entertaining to watch. The ending with Percy and Harold's really nice, and just seeing this dynamic again after Season 2 or Season 3 was really nice. 6 out of 10. Could have been a bit more eventful though. Percy's Chocolate Crunch. If it wasn't for the intro, this would have been a lot higher on the list. The intro just drags on for too long in my opinion. It takes so much time out of the episode. Percy is complaining the whole episode, which is funny, but not the most eventful thing, but the crash is absolutely amazing, and I love all the engines teasing Percy at the end in the Fat Controller scene. That was really good. So yeah, this is a pretty good episode. Percy complaining and the engines making fun of him, hilarious. The crash was insane. 7 out of 10, really nice. Middle engine, don't shoot me, okay? This is a good episode. Listen, I do agree that Ari and Bert were done really bad in this episode and Percy getting blamed wasn't really good, but literally everything else about this episode is perfectly fine. The smelter's yard and the coaling plant sets look great. This is one of James's funniest episodes, some of his best moments in the entire show here. I thought the ending was really good with James as well. And Ari and Bert are not terrible here, they're just a disappointment. If they truly were terrible, they would have made them nice characters. But yeah, this episode gets far too much hate. I wish more people would like it. 7 out of 10. Scaredy engines. A lot of things I've noticed with some of these season 6 episodes is that they could become really great if it weren't for one problem. With this episode, I think Thomas is being a bit too much of a jerk to Percy, which is also a problem with Thomas, Percy and the Squeak, but I can give it a pass here since it is Halloween and, you know, friends do tease each other on Halloween. But the atmosphere in the Smelter's Yard set more than makes up for it. Duck has an amazing role. People say Duck wasn't important in the show after season 4. Bullshit. What is this episode? Nothing, I guess. And Thomas getting scared, the visuals, the music, just it's all really good, but I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 because I think Thomas is a tad distracting, but this could have been much better. Percy and the Haunted Mine. I honestly don't mind the sort of scaredy Percy here because it's not as extreme as it was in later seasons, and of all the main characters, this makes most sense for Percy. What, would you rather have Edward be in this role? Yeah, I didn't think so. But the visuals, again, people drag on season 6's visuals, but at nighttime it can look really, really spooky with these episodes. The mine collapsing was great. Don Douglas had a really funny scene, and in the UK dub, I really love the Fat Controller's voice for some reason, especially when he says, "To decorate Lower Tidmouth Station." Why does he say Lower Tidmouth like that? It's funny, but I don't know. 7 out of 10, this is a good episode. Jack jumps in. We're introduced to some of the greatest characters in the show, the Pack. Jack is a really nice addition, as is Alfie, Max, and the other Pack members, and this is a really nice setup for a much better episode later in the ranking list. 8 out of 10. Jack Frost. Again, season 6 has great winter and nighttime visuals, a really nice and funny rivalry between Percy and James here. The ending where James is bragging to the others is also great. James getting spooked. It's such a good episode. 8 out of 10. Faulty Whistles. A really funny Duncan story where he gets his comeuppance in a really good way. The organ was also good. The headmaster using the organ for a whistle was good. The other engines teasing Duncan at the end. This is a nice episode. Not much to say about it, but it's still nice. 8 out of 10. Salty's Secret. We are introduced to one of the best diesels in the show, Salty. He's a great new character. He plays off of Bill and Ben really well. You feel sorry for him, even though you've just met him, that he's not near the sea. And when he does be near the sea at Brendam Docks at the end of the episode, you feel so happy for him. Him being one of the only engines who can manage trucks is also interesting as well. Bill and Ben are really funny in this episode. And it's good to see Mavis's character arc from season 3 still intact. 8 out of 10. It's Only Snow. Winter visuals are great. Thomas and Toby working together in the snow. Thomas's determination in this episode is something that never gets talked about. And I think it's really nice, Thomas being so determined to get the tree to the village. I wish more people would talk about this. Thomas was done really well in season 6. Him obviously still hating snowplows is great continuity with season 1. And it's just an overall nice episode. 8 out of 10. Duncan, one of the funniest episodes of the season. Season 6 really did good at its funny episodes, didn't it? Duncan complaining the whole time, the other engines making remarks to Duncan, Rusty trying to be straight and firm but losing his patience with Duncan is great, Duncan going up the incline and falling in the muddy swamp, amazing, the crash, amazing, the Fat Controller yelling at Duncan at the end, amazing, poor Duncan. It's really funny this episode, 9 out of 10. No sleep for Cranky. Just like Duncan, this is really funny. Cranky yelling, Salty getting on Cranky's nerves, Bill and Ben's comments, the Fat Controller telling off Cranky, Cranky just responding to Salty's story. I can't take anymore. The ending is great. Cranky is just such a fun character. I wish they used him more. 9 out of 10. Thomas and the Jet Engine. This, along with the Diesel, have to be the two most batshit insane episodes of the classic series. It's unrealistic, but it's fun. Thomas screaming as he goes at like 700 miles an hour. The hi Gordon, bye Gordon scene was hilarious. Him passing the other engines was great. Him passing Bertie was funny as fuck. It's just, this is a really good Thomas episode. It's action-packed, it's silly. One of the only times I don't care about realism not being present in the episode. It's so good. 9 out of 10. Toby Had a Little Lamb. Genuinely such a great and sweet episode. Duck's got a nice scene. Toby's determination is so good. I wish people would talk about this episode more. The visuals, the snow visuals are nice. The ending's sweet. This is so underrated. It's one of the best Toby episodes of the entire series. I wish people would talk about it. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. A Friend in Need. A brilliant follow-up to Jack Jumps In. Jack is such a heroic, great character. Ned is really funny. The whole intense sequence of the bridge collapsing is amazing. I didn't even notice this until very recently, but Jack's arm actually bends when he's under that bridge. And just when the bridge breaks, it's such a good crash. And you feel so happy for Jack when he gets accepted into the pack at the episode. So good, 10 out of 10. Gordon takes a tumble. The scenes with Salty and Percy are really great. Gordon grumbling is always amazing. The crash is the most insane of the entire season, one of the best in the entire show. Just seeing Gordon just get his comeuppance will never not be boring. Like, seriously. 10 out of 10, again. The Fogman. This is a really, really good episode. Thomas is perfectly in character here. The scene where Percy just crashes out is hilarious when he's with the foghorn. The engine's complaining about the foghorn. The Fat Controller's scene with the foghorn. I love that detail of the slates falling off of the roof because it's so loud. The crash is so intense. The mist atmosphere is so good. And this is way better than PA problems from the Brenner era because I find a machine replacing a human rather than a new machine replacing an old machine way more interesting. This episode was very ahead of its time and it's one of the most cleverest episodes of this show in my opinion. 10 out of 10. The world's strongest engine. This is the way better version of Diesel does it again from season 3. Again, hilarious episode, something that season 6 is great at having, lots of hilarious episodes. The troubles from the trucks are never a disappointment in any of these seasons. Diesel is great in this episode, trying to pull 20 trucks, but he can't even do that. And Henry's scene in this episode is so good. You know, even though Mattel and all of them got rid of Henry in the Bubba era and mistreated him, the classic series treated him with such justice, especially with this scene. Henry has never been much more of an amazing character than this. This was his true send-off in the classic series. 10 out of 10, I love this episode. Well, that's another season done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to share your opinions about the episodes in the comments below, and I will see you in the Season 7 ranking video.